Hello, everyone here inside of Coaching Mastery. I hope you're doing well. Hi, Richie. Hi, Suze. Hi, Monica. Hi, Becky. I hope that you're doing amazing today and that your week has been so good so far. Hello, everyone from listening on the podcast, The Coaching Masters. Today's topic is going to be a very real, vulnerable one, I feel like. I'm going to talk about the real life of a coach, right? What does that look like? What does that entail? And I know that a lot of things are sold in this space and whatnot, but I wanted to be quite honest and also keep the integrity of like, what does that look like, right? From someone that has experience in this journey for a while now, and just give you a little bit of an insight, right? Because it is very glamorous, but at the same time, it's not so glamorous at all, right? In order to make it glamorous, you have to put in some work in the hopes of having you see that and understand that and taking what you need for your own journey out of my own journey and what I'm going to talk about today to put it into practice, right? And to kind of like remind you that I think I've heard it somewhere, right? This is not a race, it's a marathon, right? And I know that a lot of you probably have heard that saying and say it, and it is so true. We try to expect when we start this journey as a coach to earn money, to have a vacation freedom, time freedom, financial freedom right away, as soon as we start the process, as soon as we get qualified or after we get certified and finish our training. And we expect that to come right away because it's that instant gratification that we have been fed that has been around us for quite a long time. And the reality of it all is that as with everything, you have to put in the work and that it's going to take some time. For some people, it actually happens like this super quick. And for others, it takes some trial and error and some failures and some getting back up. And it's all part of the journey, right? It's all yours. And it's a matter of how you take that journey and how you basically choose to show up every single day to make it work. If it's truly something that you really want to make it work, because when you truly want to make something work, you do everything possible to make it happen. You do everything to make that desired outcome happen. So that's kind of a little bit of what I'm going to talk about today. So first off, I guess I'm going to talk about my own personal journey so that way you can understand what the life of a coach has been for me, right? From beginning to right. But hello, everyone, again, that you are hopping in here in Coaching Mastery. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Unfortunately, Liam wasn't able to get here today, but you have me instead, Dayana Carmona. I feel like some of you may not know me, some of you do. So let's dive into the real life of a coach. And through that, I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey. And I started my journey back in 2019 when I decided to become accredited as a coach. I thought of it as an opportunity to get accredited through the Coaching Masters and start my journey to start helping people, right? Because I was doing my master's in mental health counseling and I had to wait quite a while to start practicing through internship and also getting out there into the world after graduating and everything. And I thought that the accreditation and becoming a coach would give me that opportunity to really start diving in and to put into practice what I had been learning for years as well through my psychology degree and everything. And I thought it was the best opportunity for me to practice and to kind of build up that confidence that that I felt like I needed as a counselor in training, because in the courses and the classes, they were all like, they just throw you out there and blah, 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 blah. And that was kind of giving me a lot of nervousness going forward with it. But at the same time, that's part of the journey. I didn't have to worry too much about it. But when I encountered coaching, it gave me that opportunity. And when I went through the accreditation, it transformed the way that I was seeing the approach of helping others. And it gave me that practicality, right? It gave me the practical tools to truly help someone, because I felt like I wasn't getting that enough during my coursework. I felt like, but how am I going to help someone go from here to here? How am I going to help someone that is facing depression or anxiety? And I honestly was asking so many of these questions when I was going through my degree, through all of my classes. I was like, how am I going to apply this? And when I was doing the accreditation here instead of TCM, it gave me those practical tools. And I feel like that is something that is so underrated, I feel like, because not many people or not many courses or accreditations out there, certifications, or even some degrees don't give you the practical tools that you need in order to actually make it work. And so when I was going through that journey, I started to pretty much see how I could help people, right? Learning all the right questions to ask, how to start a session, how to go with it, how to continue it, and then how to close the session. And then that gave me all the tools that I needed. And so afterwards, I graduated, I got my accreditation as a coach, and it was the best thing ever. Because I had, like some of you know already, if you have listened to my podcast, to the last episode that I did of how to become a holistic coach, and you kind of saw what my journey was as well as becoming a holistic coach. And you know that I did my yoga teacher training and had all these tools available for me, and decided that I wanted to pretty much put that into practice with the accreditation that I had learned. And I wanted to bridge both of these two things together. And that's how I became a holistic coach, right? And so at first, starting out my journey, I was very resistant to putting myself out there, to showing that I was taking in clients to do things. I was very motivated, but at the same time, I was very resistant on how I was going to make this work, on really showing out on social media. And I know that a lot of you can relate to that, on putting your face out there, making videos, doing lives, posting on all of your social media channels that you have available after you graduated or during even your accreditation. I know a lot of you have that feeling, and I would love for you guys to let me know down in the comments, now that you're here, to let me know if this is something that you struggle with, starting with your journey on posting online, putting yourself out there and kind of bragging a little bit that you did this accreditation, that you became a coach. And for those of you that are not a coach, then maybe this is one of your fears as well for starting. Like, I don't know if I have anything to show up for myself, and what if people laugh at me and judge me and everything. And I kid you not, I started to post some of the information that I was gathering and some reflections and, the insights that I was getting and everything. And I kid you not, I never had one negative comment towards me. I mean, probably I was very blessed because I know some people that have gotten some judgments back into them, but I didn't have any negative comments because I didn't put the energy into thinking, oh, what are they going to think if I post this, right? I just kind of did it and hoped for the best. That's really what it was. I posted something, I put reflections on, and I was very nervous even after I put it out on social media. And I was like, okay, that's me out there. What are they going to think? Okay, let's not think about that. Let's just leave it as it is. And because I wasn't feeding that energy of what are people going to think about me, or if someone going to say something and blah, 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 I never had, thankfully, knock on wood, I never get that again. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter if people say something, because it's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them, right? But putting that energy onto and focusing on the fact that someone could respond in a certain way, or they could say, what are they thinking? Or even not say anything. And maybe they could have thought about it in at their own time or whatever. It's like, it does not matter, because if you do not put yourself out there, you're never going to be able to make your dreams happen in this realm, in this space as a coach. And so I started to slowly, bit by bit, start to show up in different ways, right? At first, it was to post and write words and just make a huge post basically on my Instagram and write from my heart and write from the insights and everything. And that allowed me to have some confidence into putting my works out there in a way that was kind of behind the scenes, right? It's like a picture of me, but it's me posting what I had and what I was going to share. And then slowly it's becoming more comfortable with just doing a live and just kind of saying, like today I thought about this, and and say a story and whatnot. And all I got was relatively positive feedback. And I say relatively because some people didn't answer, but some people were like, oh, wow, this is so true, and responded very well to it. And I put myself out there. And basically, I had to dive in and to step into that uncomfortableness, that uncomfortable feeling of what and thinking of what people might going to say, or uncomfortable because I've never done this before, or how am I going to show up on camera, or what if I mess up and everything. And slowly but surely, I started getting myself being more comfortable and also being more confident when I showed up online and when I showed up in my stories, to the point that I don't care anymore. And I mess up on my stories right here, right now, like in here in this live, I'm talking to you, right? And this is probably so scary for you guys, like even doing a podcast or showing up live and being afraid of messing up or of saying the wrong thing or stumbling upon your words. And maybe you have noticed that I have stumbled upon my words while I've been talking throughout this whole time. I've said maybe a couple of wrong things that maybe used improper grammar. I've messed up in here while I'm talking to you. And that doesn't delete all the information that I'm going to give you. People won't think and won't laugh at you. And if they do, again, that is a reflection of them and not of you, because you are the one putting yourself out there. You are the one making the effort to show up, to make your dreams happen, to make something of yourself, while the other ones, they're just consuming, or they would be too scared to do that same thing that you are doing. So going through that journey at the beginning was a bit hard, right? And then was, how am I going to get clients? And that was also very challenging at the beginning because I didn't know how to do it. And at that time, the ultimate launch wasn't available. So it was kind of tricky to kind of like make that work. And I had to do a couple different things to make it work. At the end of the day, I ended up releasing an ebook because of Lewis's help, and he helped me through that and putting that information out there. And that allowed me to get into discovery calls and do clarity calls and hop on client on calls and charge for my services. And that was very scary. I was just like, who am I to charge for all of this and everything? And I'm sharing this with you because every single coach that you see out there, me, Lewis, Liam, if you know some other coaches that are in the industry that have millions of followers or hundred thousands of followers, they've started at that point where they were like, who am I to charge this kind of money? How am I going to show up? Oh, I don't know. What if they judge me and everything? Everybody goes through the same thing. You are not alone in this. It's a matter of choice at this point. It's a matter of choosing whether you continue to step into that uncomfortable feeling, into the fear, into the unknown, or choosing to stay in the same place that you have been and continue to be in that place for the rest of your life. It is ultimately your choice, because life, whether you think about it or not, it's determined by the choices that you make. And so through that, I was able to put myself out there. It was my first time launching something that I was doing my one-on-one coaching and everything. And I only got one client. And that was the most beautiful thing and the most joyful feeling I ever had in my life, that first client, because it was like, wow, all that work that I was putting, showing up on social media, putting the effort, making my ebook, hopping on those discovery calls, selling my stuff. I hopped, I think, on like maybe 8 or 10 discovery calls and only got one client. And I was so happy. I obviously wanted more because I was like, I want to make this work, but I was also so happy. And not going to lie, when I look back at that and I put myself in this position and I look back at that, I'm like, I wish I would have savored it more. I wish I would have been more thankful about that one client that I got, because all that effort showed through that one client instead of thinking of all the clients that I didn't get and putting a lot more pressure on myself. And so this is important for you to understand, because the journey, the real life of a coach is putting yourself out there, is stepping into the unknown, the uncomfortableness, getting really, really uncomfortable and then uncomfortable and then uncomfortable again and then comfortable again, working deeply on yourself and trusting yourself and facing your fears, right? Kind of like holding the hand of your fear, making it your friend, befriending fear. And that is kind of like what happens, building that confidence, because when you start, you don't have much confidence. Hard to say it's like, oh yeah, I got this. I mean, you can say that, of course, to help you build up that confidence to kind of like get into that state. But internally, maybe you don't believe it. And that is completely okay if you don't feel confident at that moment. But in order to gain confidence, you have to put yourself out there. You have to do the thing in order for you to feel confidence, because if not, then it's not going to happen and you're not going to feel confidence. Confidence can't happen without action, unfortunately. Confidence can't be built on just words of affirmation, because if you're just doing words of affirmations and self-affirming, yeah, I'm going to make $1,000 this month, and I'm going to make $1,000 this month, or whatever it is, or I'm going to make $10,000 a month. If you don't actually do anything about it, you're never going to deeply see that, right? Or it's like, oh, I'm never going to be confident in front of the camera. I wish I was confident in front of the camera. I wish I could show up online, and I wish I could show up and whatnot. And the reality is that you could keep on wishing, but without actually doing or fearing that you're actually going to do it, then you have to show up. And once you show up, you see that it's not so bad. Obviously, the first time it's like, whew, I did that. It wasn't so bad. And then you have to do it a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And you have to be consistent and continue to show up for yourself and continue to show up for the business that you're trying to build as well. And I know that a lot of this is probably being targeted to those of you that are more newbies and that are starting out and everything, but it still applies at a different layer, with different fears, with different levels of uncomfortableness, the more you continue to progress. And so to continue on, I got my first client. I was extremely happy. And obviously I wanted more. And again, I was resisting quite a lot this one thing of trying to actually look for clients or booking discovery calls and everything, because obviously with all of those calls that maybe didn't go well, I was a bit nervous that, oh, what if I mess up again and whatnot? But the reality is that, yeah, you're going to mess up and that's okay. You're going to learn something from that. Okay, evaluate yourself. It is a teaching opportunity for you to assess what else can you do? How can you show up differently? How can you build up that confidence and that self-assurance that you can make this work? And through that, it was through finding more clients, hopping on more discovery calls and clarity calls, and just continuing to put myself out there, right? And after that, I did a challenge. So many people joined in that challenge. I created my first ever group program, and I had 5 wonderful souls inside of my group program. And it was the most beautiful experience ever because I put in the work, right? Even though I was scared from that first launch of my one-on-one program, and I only got one client, even though that one client was the whole world, I put myself again out there, did something different this time, created a free challenge, and promoted a group program this time in this group container. And I had to still hop on discovery calls, and I was able to close clients. I had 5 people inside of that group program, and it was my first time launching a group program. And it was the best thing as well to be able to experience that, because through the hard work of following up with all the people I'd been doing the challenge, with following up with people that I had popped on discovery calls and everything, I was able to get that, right? Without the work, there won't be any result. Without the action, there won't be any result. And it was the best thing that I could have ever done in my life. And so that's how kind of like my journey has been, is pretty much to summarize. And until now, it's just kind of constantly putting the work. Investing on myself as well. I have invested in personal coaches and everything. I have invested in financial advisement and whatnot. And I continue to take on the courses here inside of TCM. Like I did my NLP practitioner training and my NLP mastery training, and I continue to invest in myself. And every time I invested in myself, I welcomed new opportunities. I welcomed new clients into my life. And not gonna lie, last year was one of my best years yet. And it's because after putting so much work of continuously showing up, of continuing to face my fears, it's when it started to show, right? It didn't happen in a lapse of a month, of 2 months after graduating. It happened after a whole year after graduating and becoming a coach. And so kind of like what I'm trying to help you or make you see, I can't make you do anything, but kind of like help you see is that the real life of a coach can be very glamorous. And it is very glamorous once you have, your clients out there, have a really good business and you are serving your clients and getting, I don't know, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month and whatnot. It is very glamorous, right? But to get to that point, it is not that glamorous. There is a lot of fear, there is a lot of anger, and there is a lot of grief. There is a lot of extreme fear of being uncomfortable, of being out of alignment and being in alignment. And I think this is very important for you to know, because this is a phase of coaching that I think I wish I would have known going into it, right? Because you can have that life that everybody promotes as a coach and that we, the coaching masters, promote. You can have that life, but it's going to require effort from you. Because just because you do something and then start learning doesn't mean that it's just magically going to fall in your lap and you're going to have 10K months and whatnot and blah, blah, blah. It's a matter of again, being uncomfortable. So the real life of a coach is continuously and constantly stepping into the unknown. Stepping into the unknown means really is not knowing if you're going to get a client or not. My first launch of an ebook, I didn't know if I was going to get a client or not. That was me stepping into the unknown and getting into discovery calls and launching something that I had poured my heart and soul into it. And so much work was done for it that I was stepping into the unknown at that point, right? Because I didn't know what the results were going to be like. The second one was doing that challenge and promoting and doing that group program and launching that group program. And that was me again, stepping into the unknown, because nothing is certain. I didn't know how I was going to react. My second launch was very different from the first one, right? So I didn't really know how I was going to go and everything. And you have the choice then to lean into that, to see that as well. And I feel like that when you know that it can be uncomfortable, that there's going to be unknown stuff in the process, I feel like that gives you a lot of reassurance, because it makes you feel not so alone. When Lewis tells me that at the beginning, he was just so scared of doing this stuff, but he did it anyway, right? Or when my friends, when they started their own coaching business as well, and they were like, I just leaned into it and I had to charge half the price and this and this and that. And yeah, it's like the first launch, I had to work really hard. The second one was okay. And the third one was okay and everything. But it's like they were all really scared through the process. And I still know that some coaches, my friend, that she's still successful in every single launch that she does, she still gets nervous. And it's a different layer of nervousness. It's not the same way as the same nervousness or the same fear as when she first started, because it's like, oh, are people going to buy this? And da, 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 or like, what if I don't deliver it good enough? It's a different layer, a different type of nervousness. And that is okay. And I want to let you know about this, because I feel like it is very important that there is this side that, it's uncomfortable and there's a lot of unknown stuff. And it's just a matter of whether you choose to let that overpower you and not let it allow you to pursue your dreams, or if you are going to just face it and observe it and let it be as it is, because heck, things are uncomfortable. If you've never done it before, it's really uncomfortable and you have all the reason to feel that way. But are you going to let that overpower you, or are you going to walk with it and step through it, right? It's like you have this big ball of fear and you're right here of something that you've never done before. So this ball of fear right in front of you and you're facing it. It's your choice whether you want to walk through that gooiness of fear and come out the other side, or you're just going to let it get bigger and let it stop you from what's in front of you, right? So that is a big thing that it's in the real life of a coach. And another thing is that it's really important that throughout all of the process that I've been through all of my journey, is that I've been consistently showing up for myself. I wouldn't say constantly. I'm consistently and constantly showing up for myself. But what I meant is that I choose to work on myself daily, sometimes every other week and whatnot. But I am showing up consistently on working on myself, meaning I am, apart from facing my fears, I'm learning about my patterns and at the same time doing something about them. I'm learning about my triggers and doing something about them. I am internally healing, doing the work, right? Alongside doing the work for my own business, I'm doing the work for myself. And that is really important when you are also a coach, because the more you work on yourself, the more you invest in other courses and continue to dive into who you are and what lights you up and remove your patterns and your fears and your triggers, then the more you're able to help other people on a different level as well, right? Because you meet them better, because you are able to understand them better. You're able to meet them where they are, and you are able to as well create this beautiful way of not judging yourself. The more you work on yourself, the less you judge for yourself. And when you're able to do that, you're able to serve your clients so much better. And not gonna lie, that takes a lot of work, right? It's the real life of a coach is, yes, you have time freedom, financial freedom, everything, every type of freedom, right? But it also means that you have that freedom because you're choosing to do that work for yourself, to put yourself out there, to face your fears, to getting into the uncomfortableness. And one thing that I've touched upon as well is the investment part. Like, you can't expect to do something, to learn about something deeply, to get to the next level that you can be, to go from $1,000 a month to a $5,000 a month to a $10,000 a month by just trying doing the same thing over and over again. Because you are constantly growing, because you're getting to know new stuff, you're going to get new blind spots. And what was once cleared out and didn't make sense, and now it does, but new things are starting not to make sense. And that's when you need help. And that's why investing in yourself is key. And that also makes a ripple effect with your own finances, with your own energy, because when you're able to invest in yourself and put that energy out there, you're saying as well, I am committed to this and I'm willing to make it work. I want it to make it work. There's emotional energy behind it as well. And it comes back to you tenfold sometimes, and depending on how much work you're doing for that, right? And that has happened to me. I think I once did a 3-day workshop, and I did it for 3 days. And based on everything that I got from that, those insights, I invested on it. And the next 2 weeks, I had 2 paying clients. And I know that, yes, it was what they taught me in the workshop, but it's also the feeling that I got, the ability of investing and the energy that I got myself from it, and what I did through that of kind of like facing my patterns, facing where I was stuck, and eliminating that through that workshop. And then next thing I know, I'm getting 2 new clients like that without me even trying that hard. And that is because, again, I put in the effort. I was working on myself. I was stepping again into the unknown. I was investing on myself as well, and choosing to continue to work on this. A lot of this work has to do with consistency, commitment, discipline as well. It's being consistent in the way that you show up. How are you choosing to do that? Committing yourself to what you're doing, right? Actually making a deliberate decision of like, how committed are you to make this life happen? How committed are you to becoming the best coach that you can be? How committed are you to have 3 clients, to have 4 clients, to have a 5K month, to have a 10K month, and so on and so forth? How committed are you to do this instead of that? Meaning, to, instead of watching TV for binge watching for a whole day, to Maybe do watch some TV, but what commitment are you going to make then to kind of like balance that out, right? And continue to show up in the ways that you can get new clients. Are you talking to new people and whatnot? And I'm only saying this and I'm kind of like brushing through it because I'm not a business coach and I'm not here to tell you, oh, this is how you're going to get clients and whatnot. I'm just giving you the reality of what it's like to being a coach. And it's really all about the choices and what you decide to do with the tools that you have gathered and with yourself and with your life, really. Another big part of the life of a coach is, being humble, recognizing that you don't have it all figured out, that you don't know everything, and that there are people out there that do. And so therefore getting help. It's kind of like the same thing as investing, right? So really being able to see that, well, if I can't make right now with this, because I can't figure out how to make like $5,000 a month, right? For example, then I need someone that will help me get the $5,000 a month. And then getting the help and choosing to be humble and to recognize that you need the help is very, very important. With what I'm saying here is that you are choosing to do these different things, to recognize, to lower yourself down as to be acceptant and non-judgmental of yourself, to be kind and gentle with yourself through this journey. Because a lot of things are going to present with this journey. I mean, as an entrepreneur, when you decide to embark on this journey as a coach, as an entrepreneur, there are a lot of things that are going to surface for you and in every single way, in a personal way and in a professional way. And this is the side of coaching that not many people talk about, and it's very real. And I feel like when you're able to know that aspect, then you are able to kind of power through it because one, you're not the only one facing it. You're not the only one going through it. And I can speak about this because it's in my experience. And I know that a lot of people in the industry, that has been their experiences as well, is their commitment to it, their consistency to continuously to choose to show up every single day through putting themselves out there, through their lives, through launching, through promoting their services, through posting, through sending emails. That's them showing up for themselves. So how are you going to show up for yourself? Are you committed to show up for yourself? And if you are, I highly encourage you to say, I am committed to make the life of a coach work, to make coaching work, because it all comes down to it. And the nice thing about that is if you say that I am committed to making coaching work for me, right? Or however you want to phrase that affirmation, I am committed to making online coaching the career that works for me, however you want to phrase that, and see how that feels in your body as well. See how much you believe that as well. Because you may be able to say it, but that doesn't mean that you can believe it. All right. So if you don't believe it, then what needs to change? Why can't you believe that you are, one, committed to this, or that you can make it work? So asking yourself these questions are also very powerful. And that is the thing of being a coach. You're supposed to be asking questions to your clients. So asking these questions for yourself through journaling or just saying it vocally or filming yourself and just answering those questions for yourself through a video, like a video journal, it's very, very, very powerful, right? So I want to look into the comments to see kind of like where you guys at and everything. Amazing. I don't like to show up online. I feel so naked. So with that, I don't like to show up online. I feel so naked. What makes you feel naked by showing up online? What do you think that brings that into your life, right? Because are you really showing up naked, or in the sense of, like the rawness that it comes when you are showing up? But the thing is that you don't have to be completely, say 100% of the things that you're thinking, feeling, or that I have experienced in your life. It's not, you don't have to. And so it's a matter of like, how can you show up to not feel naked when you show up online? So what different approach can you do? But first of all, just ask your question is, what makes you feel so naked about showing up online, right? Is it the fear or the insecurities? Is it fear of being rejected, fear of being judged, or just the insecurities that you have about yourself? And that's okay, right? Or it could be shyness. And that's okay. I believe it or not, I am a shy person. I've always been very shy. I've always struggled to approach people, and I still do. One of those people that I like people to approach me rather than me approach them, because I'm just very shy. And shyness, the beauty of being in this platform is that you don't have someone right there just kind of like looking at everything that you do and every single step that you do and whatnot. And believe it or not, showing up on camera actually kind of like lets you put that guard down quite a lot and makes you feel a lot more confident and more free. I feel like I am now a little bit more, I can approach people a little bit more just through being in here, because not necessarily this right now, even though I know that you guys are all in here, I'm just facing a camera. And that's sometimes what you have to think about. It's like either at the beginning, it was to think about what you're recording that you're sending to a friend or to a loved one or to a family member, or just pretend that you're talking to a camera, and because you are talking to a camera, but you're not going to post it anywhere, but still do it. And you never know what you are going to be able to let out into the universe that people are going to resonate with and they're going to need it, right? Talking about your shyness is something that can be very empowering as well through, putting it out there into the world. And I know that a lot of you probably get, the fear, the judgment from people or not being liked and everything. But the reality is that most people don't care. And those that do, they don't really care. They're just portraying their insecurities onto you. Most people don't really care what you're doing or what you ate in the morning and whatnot, unless you're a big time influencer, I feel like. It's like I continue to post and I continue to show up on my stories, and it's going to affect the people that needs to affect. And that's it. And the people that it has affected to, or that has influenced and whatnot, or I have had something to say that they fully recognized and they fully took in, they were very grateful about it. Most people are not going to judge you. I feel like 99% of the population won't judge you. There are a lot of people that will, of course. Maybe some people judged me from the back of their phone, but they never said anything or whatever. But one, I don't know what they said. Two, who cares? Three, this is the life that I'm trying to build for myself, right? And so am I going to let a stranger or someone that I know bar me from living this beautiful life that I have right now? Because without having to do all of those, stepping into the unknowns and the fearness, I would not be sitting here in Bali right now, having had the most successful launch ever, delivering a course this Sunday, the Holistic Modalities course this Sunday, to 130 plus people, if I wouldn't have done the work, and if I didn't constantly choose to show up for myself, to face those fears, to build that confidence, if I didn't choose to get that confidence from continuing to show up. I mean, my first live, I was freaking terrified, guys. When I first showed up in a podcast episode, I was terrified, and it comes and it's a part of the journey. If you want the glamorous life of a coach, if you want all of that, you have to go through that. And again, I say again, it's not a race, it's a marathon. It's going to have some challenges in the middle. You're going to have some tiptoeing. You're going to go back and forth, and you're going to have to rest for a little bit. And it's all part of it. But do you want that end goal hard enough to make it work, to continue to brace through, to continue to pump your blood, to continue to breathe into those spaces, to continue to get to that finish line, because you have been running for so long, or you have been walking for so long, you still have like 500 meters left, but you are not able to see that you have 500 meters left. You're just ready to give up. Are you willing to let that go, even though it's so close, just because of other people, of your own insecurities, of your own patterns, of your own fears? Are you willing to let that happen? Because it's a matter of will. It's a matter of choice. That's the beauty of being human. You have willpower. You have choice, and it's your right to choose whatever path, but you have to make it consciously, right? Do you want to choose to just stay where you continually are and not finish a marathon, even though you can't say that you have 500 meters left, but you're so exhausted that you're just willing to give up and go back? Or are you wanting to take a breather, drink a little glass of water, right? Or a bottle of water, and walk, not a run, just walk and finish those 500 meters that you have left. It's a choice, right? And so I hope that this has made a lot of sense and it helps you in some way in your journey, because I know that being in this journey, there's a lot of disappointment that comes in here. Oh, I haven't gotten any clients, or I haven't seen the results yet and everything. But it's a matter of like, it's a test. It's a test whether you are committed to do this or not. Right. Speaking personally, my faith has been tested quite a lot the last couple of months. And before that, it's like things haven't panned out the way that I wanted to and everything, or I was too scared to do this. But at the end of the day, it's a test. It's a test for you to determine, for you to see, or for the world to see, I guess, the universe, what I mean, or a higher power is they're testing you to see if you're truly committed to making that work or not. Because those hurdles, those fears, those unknowns, things that are uncomfortable, the failures, the falling back, the getting back up again and falling back down again, they are tests to see your commitment, to see if you're committed enough to make that work. Because some things in life are very easy and some things require a little bit of work, right? And it's just, are you stopping yourself, or are you making yourself let it be easy because you are actually not doing anything to make it easy, because you're holding yourself back through not showing up online, through not getting into the unknown and getting into the uncomfortableness of booking a discovery call, of talking to people, of putting your services out there, of showing up online, of making reels, of making Instagram stories, of doing lives? Are you stopping yourself from showing up, from pretty much getting that end goal, right? And those are your tests. If you're willing, you're committed enough to make it work. And I know that I've been seeing in the comments in here as well, is that, it's true. When you show up online and when you are able to put away the fears, put them aside, push through them, walk through them, befriend them, hold them in your hand, however you want to take on fears, right? Never shoving them down, but just kind of like recognized what the fear is and still doing it anyway. And the wisdom that you hold, I hold, and the wisdom that I hold, you hold. And at the same time, some of the wisdom that you hold, even though it's deep within me, I may not be able to see it, but when you are able to put that out into the world, share your words of wisdom, share your experiences, talk about your reflections, your insights, that may unleash that wisdom that I have within. You never know what you are going to be able to say and how you're going to impact someone's life if you don't put it out there. No matter how much you're holding yourself in there, because you may be holding so much wisdom that you don't know that you may have, but you will never know if you don't actually share it. Sharing is caring. Sharing is putting yourself out there. And so doing all of those things will lead you to this beautiful, wonderful, glamorous life that a lot of coaches in the industry have, that we all yearn for, that you guys all want and everything. And it's available to you. It's just a matter of choosing to step into the unknown, to step into the fear, to step into the uncomfortableness, to create, your own confidence, to continue to show up for yourself, to work on yourself, to work on your business, to show up every single day, to get up and say, okay, I'm going to do this, right? And to make it work, to be committed to it in order for it to happen, because it is available to you. And I know that a lot of people struggle, or some of you may be struggling with that, but it's all down to you. It sometimes is not a matter of what some people are teaching, or, that didn't work because, blah, 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 or this works, but it's not going to work for me, blah, blah, blah. It's just, are you choosing to look at it that light, or are you making excuses, or are you actually going to follow the step-by-steps that they are telling you to do, and continues to work on those fears that are popping up through that journey and making it work? Obviously, some cases it may not work whatsoever when you invest in someone and they are not able to give you what you needed, but you won't know. It's not their fault unless that you don't do the actions and you don't do the things, type of thing. So I hope that works, that is in any way beneficial to you, because I feel like at the beginning, especially when you're starting your journey as a coach. It is very important to know. I wish I would have known this information stepping into it. And yeah, it is uncomfortable to know that, oh, it's going to be a bit uncomfortable and there are a lot of fears, but it's up to you whether you're going to let that overpower you. Like I said, it's up to you whether you're going to make that limit your life, limit who you can potentially be, who you are deep inside. Are you going to let that run your life, dictate your life? Or are you going to choose to acknowledge it, work through it, and just keep on pursuing your dreams, keep on pursuing the life that you so much want? So I think that this is it. This is for me, like, to wrap up today's power hour, this episode and everything. I hope that you, again, like I said, I hope that you got what you need. I'm going to look at the comments real quick and see what you guys are saying. We perceive as others view as the simplest action we take as courage, inspire others and act. I love that, Jim. It is so, so true. Yes, Dayana, just being yourself and showing your humanness, flaws and insecurities, whatever you want to call them, is the greatest gift, and people will resonate with you or us. Yes, for sure. I was completely raw with you guys right now, very vulnerable. And I bet that none of you were like, oh, you were thinking that? Oh, you're so silly for not being confident. Oh, you're so dumb for this. I bet none of you were thinking about any of that. You were like, oh, wow. Like, yeah, I get that. I've been in that position. I felt a lack of confidence. I was scared of showing up online and everything. I've been there. I'm still there. Like, it's like none of you are judging me. Right? And most people won't judge you. Those that are, it's on them. If they are judging you, again, it's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them, because they are jealous of you. They are jealous of the fact that you can show up online, that you can talk, that you can show the real you, that you can share things, and you put yourself out there. They wish they could do that. And instead, they judge you because of that. It's going to be awesome. We never know how much your post video can help another person, 100%. Alrighty, guys. So this is it from me. I hope that you have a beautiful day or evening wherever you may be. And I'll see you next time or another power hour, I suppose. All right, guys. Bye.